Frank's seventh hole here at TPC Sawgrass. How do you break this one down?
Not overly long, 440 yards, but once again, it's a tee shot. If you're driving the ball well, that's fine. You just sort of blister it down there, but you're starting to lose one a little bit to the right. There's 3 pot bunkers there, and of course, if you're fearful of it going left, there's the canal all the way down the left side that'll get your attention.
You'll need to get all of this one, 200 yards, the second shot. Frank did the prudent thing there, didn't he?
Yeah, in the end, really, you could have turned that into a disaster. Instead, I see a good chance, really, to perhaps get away with par.
Well, that's how you play the game, right there. Settles in over the putt. Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Frank's 17 here at TPC Sawgrass gets all the attention when you look at the par threes, justifiably so. But number 8 is a daunting challenge in its own right.
It is, longest of the 4 par threes. Plus, it's just littered with bunkers around the side, the back, and the front.
That shot right there from that lie in the rough to knock it that close, that's good. Not a gimme, but well within his range. And that's in for a par. Frank, the 9th is really a good par 5, isn't it?
There's so many options here. Just play it away, sort of 3-wood it down there, then go to the right and sort of wedge it on the green. But it's very tempting, especially in the right wind conditions. And that's if they're coming over your shoulder for a right-hander from right to left. Then this par 5 is very reachable. Rich, do you think we should tell him this fairway out there?
Yeah, he's been in the rough all day long.
Good recovery shot. Couldn't make the green, but at least he's back in play.
Played the smart shot right there. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
This is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Pretty good shot right there. Just drip that in.
Well, it's 4 1/4 inches. Use it all.
Frank, disappointing couple of rounds there.
And consequently a miscut. No chance of playing in the weekend, but there's more than one tournament ahead.
EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the BioWare Classic.
Now, this game is all about variables, right? Rich, if you hit into a bad lie, it completely changes the nature of the next shot. When the ball sits up like that, it is just liberty of choice now.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. This is a long birdie putt here. Requires good judgment of the speed and the line. Just try to lag it down there. Looks like he just misread that. And getting ready for the putt. Been a little too much of that, Frank. Just sort of ho-hum pars. Moving to the 16th hole here at the Wetlands, 455-yard par 4, and you can see, Frank, that green is heavily guarded.
And consequently, you're really going to have to judge that second shot. Know your yardage, and also a good strikes required to safely keep the ball on the putting surface.
Frank, it may be obvious you'd rather have a ball sitting up perfectly in these fairways as opposed to the deep rough off to the left or right. But how is a player able to take advantage when he has that good lie?
Well, anything better than that would be sitting on a tee. That is a perfect lie. It almost guarantees good contact.
See if you can get this one to drop here at the 16th for a birdie.
Even par, currently.
Frank had the touch of a plumber right there.
Yeah, you'd like a redo, wouldn't you? Wake up, wake up!
Still playing even for the day after the par. 17th at the Wetlands, par 3, 238 yards. Frank, how would you describe this hole?
Well, it's a hole really that shapes up well for a nice little high draw. See the angle of the green pointing slightly to the right. A nice little draw into this par 3. And that'll find the nice avenue. Maybe a kick forward, 15, 20 feet left for birdie. And if you birdied 16, chance to birdie 17 as well.
Okay, good shot on the dance floor. Has his par. Well, this is it, Frank, the 18th hole. And on paper, it looks like you can get this one. You can make a birdie because it's only 377 yards.
You're exactly right, Rich. Just a nice drive. Doesn't even have to be a driver here. It's going to set you up really short iron wedge into this short par 4. And well, I always like to finish on a birdie. I know you do too, because a little walk to the clubhouse there on the left, maybe a hot dog or a hamburger.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Shouldn't be a problem here. Suddenly a ray of sunshine with that birdie.
There is hope. Now on the top 25.
Don't forget, second round coverage coming your way tomorrow here on EA Sports. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now. EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the BioWare Classic. Good tee shot, good lie, and now a good chance to take advantage here on this hole.
Now the second shot to the par 5.
Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up. Well, it's going to take a good one here, considering what they've already gone through, Rich. Right now, that green is going to look very small, so it's going to take a good shot here to give himself an opportunity.
Some really poor play to this point. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie.
Just when you think you're going to make birdie. Now, have to really concentrate on this and at least make par.
In for par. 8th hole here at the Wetlands, par 3, 203 yards. You like this hole, Frank?
I do, actually, but you have to have a little look at your yardage book, because that front bunker will make this hole look a little shorter to the eye than actually what it plays. Green gets a little narrow as it gets deeper, but flat and, well, I wouldn't say easy. 3 here, not too bad.
Try to scramble here. He's giving himself a chance for par. Good putt. The 9th hole, Frank, is a muscular par 5, 621 yards.
You see why length is a huge advantage of this golf course, just under 7,700 yards. This hole here, another example, good tee shot. Perhaps think of going for the par 5 and 2, but great collection of 3 bunkers that sort of annoy you with your layup there. Got to make sure you avoid all of those to leave yourself a nice little wedge shot in here if you can't reach it in 2.
Now his third, staring right at the green.
Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie.
Slow snack, though.
Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Continues to roll the ball very well. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novelo for EA Sports. We're back here at the Wetlands Golf and Country Club. Partner, how do you get off to a good start on this back 9?
Well, there's no problem getting up for this hole, Rich. Very difficult par 3. Wet to the left to be avoided. If you want to keep it dry here, then it's going to require a nice, hard, straight shot. Well, that's a little absurd, that, Rich. That shot wasn't that hard, but it's come up well short.
Didn't appear committed through impact. A sensational shot right there, Frank.
Oh, you start beating your chest after a shot like that. That's the best we've seen into this hole today.
Frank, they didn't have any openings at EA Sports Basketball because, I mean, this is just brutal to watch. Moving on to the par 4 11th, just a little bit more than 440 yards.
You know, this is not heading in the right direction.
You know, it looks like it's going to be in the rough. That's a bit offline in the rough. Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. So from the rough back to the fairway. That's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait. And at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. So a tester from 4 feet. Well, that was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
Sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
Frank, this has been an absolute mess today and all week long.
You said it best.
Stepping up to the tee at the first par 5 on this back 9. It's the 12th, and it is 576 yards.
Yeah, this hole bends to the right, opposite direction to what 11 does. A good tee shot, and you can actually think about reaching this par 5 and 2, but anything around the front or front left, still going to leave a relatively simple pitch shot. So when you stand on that tee, think of birdie at least here.
That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there.
Early part of this back 9 and a good approach shot. Now we'll have this for birdie. Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. Good try. Just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem, you'd think, cleaning up here for par.
He'll take par and move on. So 2 rounds in the books. Frank, that was fun.
It certainly was. It bodes well for the weekend. Saw a lot of good players that seem to actually have a good fit for this golf course. That bodes well for the next 36 holes.
EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the BioWare Classic. Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole. Don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Par 411, Frank, we're looking at 443 yards.
Yeah, the Wetlands Golf Course is a really good driving course. This is another example here, Rich, where the fairway's just wide enough to reward a good tee shot, and then those 2 bunkers don't really come into play. But Wetlands becomes very difficult when you just start to stray a little bit off the fairway. Then you start to see why those bunkers are put there.
Birdie try up next. It's the beautiful part of golf. Brand new day, new hole. Remember, he made a bogey here yesterday, this time for birdie. Frank, that's not one you're necessarily thinking about making.
No, just a good putt, though. There's no 2 ways about that. He's putting well.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Little redemption chance here. Had bogey yesterday. So on this back 9, we started with a par 3, then a par 4, and now we get to a par 5. The 12th is 576 yards.
Yeah, nice blend of holes there that you just referenced. 11 bends to the left, consequently 12 will bend in the other direction. Good drive required. And from there, just setting up perhaps, 7-iron, 6-iron into a green that's sort of fairly uniform in shape and should present a birdie with a good second shot.
Third shot, looking for a good one. This is a good-looking shot. Early part of this second 9, a good approach shot. Now, pretty good chance for birdie.
It's that sneaky distance.
Frank had the touch of a plumber right there.
Yeah, you'd like a redo, wouldn't you? Wake up, wake up!
Our attempt here.
That is a solid par putt right there.
Now to the par 4 13th. Frank, what are the options here?
Well, another straight one required here, Rich. At 450, it's not overly long in today's standard, but still, that fairway widens up where the longer hitters will actually hit. And bunkers, once again, short of the green. So as long as you can fly that second shot to at least the front of the green, then they really do not come into play.
So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot.
Even par currently. Oh, that was nasty.
That's an outrage right there. I mean, if there's a high commission of golfdom, we need to consult them right now because it's just simply not fair, Frank. It's not.
I think the people above are frowning on the people below.
Day 3, and what a tournament this is shaping up to be, Frank.
Quite simply, great weather, great golf, great fans, which is the perfect mix for a golfer trying to win a tournament. The final round, if this is anything to go by, has to just be sensational.
EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the BioWare Classic.
Second shot.
Par yesterday, now for birdie. And getting ready for the putt. Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Good par 3 here at the 14th. It's a little bit more than 200 yards, Frank.
And there's a bunker short. So you've got to fly that coming in there. And if you do miss time one, that's when that body of water to the right really comes into play. Typical Floridian golf, but high-flying, soft-landing tee shot, once again, is the goal.
So he didn't hit the green in regulation, but he still has a reasonably good chance to save his par, about 10 feet away. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
So that's a bogey, and now to 1 over par for the tournament. Final par 5 on the backside here at the Wetlands, 590 yards. Just a little offline, so now, Frank, he's going to have to deal with a rough.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how strong he is.
So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Now his 4th shot. In the bunker, still with a chance for an up and down. That looked like a miss hit, Frank.
The lie was okay. It's a little surprising. Maybe wrong club.
Frank looks like maybe the greatest bunker player of all time right there.
Well, he's making a name for himself today. You could certainly put him up there with Gary Player, Severiano Ballesteros. That was just a great bunker shot.
That's a bogey. Moving to the 16th hole here at the Wetlands, 455-yard par 4, and you can see, Frank, that green is heavily guarded.
And consequently, you're really going to have to judge that second shot. You know, your yardage, and also good strikes required to safely keep the ball on the putting surface.
Excellent line. Popped up on the short grass. Slight waggle, relaxed arms, ready to go. You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated offline.
He'd settle for par here. Settles in over the putt. Well done. Here we go at the 17th. It's a par 3, and it takes one good strike. That's what you like about par 3s of this length, Frank. 238 yards. Can't fake it here.
You certainly can't, and that green just shapes a little bit to the player's right. So the best shot to hit in here would be a little draw. And that is also the avenue provided by those two bunkers. One short left and the other one back right.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Well, this is it, Frank, the 18th hole. And on paper, it looks like you can get this one. You can make a birdie because it's only 377 yards.
You're exactly right, Rich. Just a nice drive. Doesn't even have to be a driver here. It's going to set you up a short iron wedge into this short par 4. And I always like to finish on a birdie. I know you do too, because a little walk to the clubhouse there on the left, maybe a hot dog or a hamburger.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. Birdie putt coming up. The par on this hole yesterday. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. And this will be a 5-foot putt here. Wow, I thought it was going in just off the mark by a fraction. He needs this for bogey. So that concludes the final round here at this spectacular setting. Frank, final thoughts on the tournament?
Rich, I thought this was really a fantastic venue that challenged the players, and we saw some exciting golf out there all across the board.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports.
in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Into the tall cabbage, that ball is swallowed up. Second shot now from 160 yards.
There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. Sometimes you get breaks, and he got one right there.
Yeah, I guess the bunker was a little smaller than I thought it was. It looked doomed for that.
And he's made the green. Still playing even for the day after the par. Action resuming early on the back nine. Let's go to hole number 11. Frank, nothing spectacular to this point in the first round. What does the player need to do just to kind of generate some momentum?
I actually think they're playing all right, Rich. It's just, compared to the top of the leaderboard, you start to think, well, maybe they're struggling. But there's ebbs and flows in this game. At the moment, it's just sort of almost like a holding pattern. But it's time to change that.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. And who knows? It is a 4-round tournament, setting himself up for a good weekend, maybe a great one. The young star makes his birdie. Good tee shot, good lie, and now a good chance to take advantage here on this hole. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
And as he strides up here to the 12th green, having hit it in regulation, he knows now that his work is by no means done. A long putt coming up. Did the job right there. At the par 4 13th now, this is a hole, Frank, that requires some smart club selection. What are the options here?
Yeah, very sneaky par 4. That bunker on the right is 250 yards or so off the tee. So you've either got a choice to play short of that or sneak it down the end, which is about 300 yards. But if you try and be bold here and miss the fairway, that second shot, evil. I mean, this skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Frank had the touch of a plumber right there.
Yeah, you'd like a redo, wouldn't you? Wake up, wake up!
1 under on the day. Second round coverage coming your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lauder alongside Frank Navalo. So long for now. NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. It's second round coverage of the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Frank, this is where a golfer's mind is really tested here after hitting one out of bounds.
Well, on the flip side, though, Rich, you know what you've done wrong. So erase it. Time to put a good swing on it.
So playing the third shot right now after having gone OB.
Well, Rich, it's been a disaster until this point, but there's an escape clause. If he can make bogey from here, that'll be something to be proud of.
We'll feel actually pretty good. Sometimes you see players walk off a hole with a little bounce in their step, even after a bogey, because they've had to work hard for it. Miss hit, wrong club. What happened there, Frank?
All of the above, maybe. It's a little bit of a head scratcher. It wasn't that hard a shot.
Not a gimme, but well within his range. That hole certainly got the best of him. Triple bogey. Frank, what's the play here off the tee? Is it driver, or do you play it safe with an iron?
A lot of the times that's predicated by the wind, Rich. If you've got a trailing breeze, driver is very much in play. Otherwise, just poke a little iron down the right side.
Well, at least he can draw on the experience from the previous hole. Again, in the bunker.
In the direction of the sand.
Looks like it. Might need a shovel soon.
All right, so greenside bunker. What's he looking to do with this shot, Frank?
Well, really you have to look at the amount of green you got to play with. You don't have to try and fly the ball right by the flag. Allow it to run. Plus, if you can get it to run like a putt, you never know. It might just go in.
In the greenside bunker here, Frank. Nice to go to the beach, but not too often, we hope. So the golf ball ends up in that first cut. It's a little bit less than 2 inches. You can see the golf ball. Should be able to get at it, but may not be able to control the spin. We'll see. And getting ready for the putt. He's made it. Frank, back in 1998, by any chance, do you remember exactly how many golf balls John Daly hit into the water at the 6th?
It was half a dozen. Half a box of golf balls.
Playing it point to point. Fairway off the tee, fairway on the second shot, and now a really good angle to attack.
Hazard?
Maybe wet. Into the thick stuff. That's a difficult lie. He'll need to be strong with this. This is a good-looking shot. How about that shot? From that lie to get it that close, tremendous effort. Par yesterday, now for birdie. Frank, that looked good to me. Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, little change in the attitude right now.
Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. Well, after that beast of a par 5, Frank, it is time to finesse one up on the green here at the par 3-7, just a little under 200 yards.
There's a big mound in the middle of this green. The flag's above it, and you've got to be really precise. If it's short of it, you can use that mound as a backstop.
On the green, and a chance for birdie. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it.
That was a good try. Didn't quite get the break right.
Frank, it's been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey.
Yeah, it's not exactly a small gap between that player there and the rest of the field. That gap's got to feel like the Grand Canyon right now.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the International Challenge. And into the thicker stuff.
Let's see if he can bludgeon this one out.
To where the hole is cut, just about 190 yards, Frank. Frank, this one needs to sit down.
Oh, it's got no chance, Rich. This is still going up.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
See if our featured player can do something right today.
Yeah, when you're swinging well, obviously, target looks as big as a barn, but on days like today, everything looks difficult.
Just 5 feet left. Well, with that drop shot, moves to 1 over for the tournament. And this is where Gene Sarazen, the Squire at the age of 71, in his farewell appearance at the Open, that was back in 1973, made an ace. How about that?
Amazing.
Frankie's missed the green here in regulation, but still hasn't missed the chance to make the par.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he's got this shot in his toolbox coming up.
Solid play, heart of the green. Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Ready to go here at the 9th at Royal Troon Golf Club. 423 yards. What are you looking to do with this one, Frank?
Well, it's another one that's a dogleg left. It's called the Monk, actually, because it faces the village of Monktown. One bunker on the left, 285 yards to carry that, but it's not that you're trying to carry it, it's you're trying to cut the ball off that.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. These putts keep the round together.
How did that miss?
Are you kidding me? I mean, that one was dead center. Settles in over the putt. In for par. Getting set for the back 9 here at Royal Troon. Frank, break down the 10th.
Little dogleg to the left, blind tee shot. Fairway starts to run out about 290 yards, so you've got to be cognizant of that.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Superb position right in the fairway and 200 yards to the flagstick. Okay, 20 feet, not too bad. Birdie chance here. Very long putt, though.
Got to be a little careful if it gets away on him.
Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
One over for the day. And that'll do it from the shores of Scotland and historic Royal Troon Golf Club. For EA Sports, I'm Rich Schroeder alongside Frank Nobilo. We'll see you next time. EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the International Challenge. We moved that one out there, but he is not going to like the lie.
That moved down in the rough.
Second shot coming out of the rough here.
Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. All right, now another shot from the rough.
Yeah, this time better be better than the one we just saw.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Well, that's what the great ones do. From the rough, they use their skill and their strength to get it out and get it close. That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
So a tester from 4 feet. Workmanlike hole. He walks away with a par. On to the 5th hole now, Frank, and this is really where the old course starts to test the golfers. It's just over 200 yards. Are you happy with a par 3 here?
You are. This is one of the toughest shots, certainly on the outward 9. Now, there's 4 bunkers of this par 3. You don't really worry about the one that's short left, but the one just on the front right of the green is the biggest concern. You've either got to go around it or carry it.
And he's made it onto the green now.
Even par, currently.
Frank, let's hope he doesn't make double bogey now.
That's the saddest coming out in you, Rich.
This to avoid a huge number. This is for bogey. Frank, it has been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey. What a good hole. They call it the slopes. And the rough off the right-hand side of the green, really some of the most punishing on the entire course.
Yeah, and the one thing you don't want to do is actually leave it up there on that high side, because it means that you'll be chipping downhill.
So in a good spot now, fairway again, and a good opportunity to make a birdie here on the par 5. Looks like he's going to have a go at it here at the par 5. His second shot. Frank, this one's headed way right.
And rough trees, all sorts of problems on that right side.
He's going to have to find something, Frank, other than the rough.
Yeah, there's hitting it right and there's hitting it left, but when you've got to go out of both barrels, the game becomes hard.
Oh, can't hide the flagstick from that man. Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. Comfortably inside the cut line, the young prodigy makes another birdie. Little bounce in his step right now after that birdie, Frank.
Well, certainly should feel that way. That was some quality golf we've just seen.
Frank, ball is in the rough here. What are the problems on this next shot?
Well, this is really where the skill level comes in. A good part, this is where the good player separates himself from the rest.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on that. Easy birdie.
Frank going for 2 in a row now. We haven't seen a whole lot of that, Frank, but that has to feel good. And what happened here in 1973?
The old squire, Gene Sarazen himself, made an ace.
He was 71 years old playing his final Open. That's how you play the game, right there. Stick it in close and then knock in the birdie. Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. That birdie will help, Frank.
Certainly moving him into the top half, that's for sure. And starting to narrow that number down in front.
Beautiful looking shot right here. Well, that sets up well for a chance at the green here at the 9th. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Pretty good shot right there. And getting ready for the putt. Good work right there. He'll settle for par. Third round coverage comes your way tomorrow on EA Sports. For Frank Nobilo and our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now. EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the International Challenge. Excellent lie, propped up on the short grass. The second shot now to the par 4. Early part of this second nine, a good approach shot. Now, pretty good chance for birdie. This is a 13-footer. So close.
And yet it still counts for another shot.
He has this attempt for par. Well done. Frank, how do you size up the 12th hole here at Royal Troon?
Well, first look at 430 yards, you'd think it'd be a rather easy par 4. But that's not really the issue. The issue is course right and left.
And he's set up for his second shot here, looking to knock it on the green.
Should be safely on deck.
That's well played. Now a good look at birdie.
This is an awkward length.
Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
And now the tee shot here at the 472-yard par 4 13th.
A hole that bends to the right, ideally hit it down the left side, and then you're playing to a raised 2-tiered green.
Good tee shot, good lie, and now a good chance to take advantage here on this hole. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Frank, how did he do there?
I would say more than the average. Get it inside 20 feet from that distance.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Just a sensational putt. Frank, what kind of par 3 is the 14th here?
Well, you can get sucked in here. Just 180 yards, which isn't considered that long. But if you look too much at the front of the green, you're going to see that's where the protection is.
Frank had hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that.
Now on the green, has about 10 feet left there to save par. Settles in over the putt. Frank, amazing how this hole has gotten away.
Yeah, he's not Robinson Crusoe. Happened to everybody that's played this game.
Oh, man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Makeable putt right here, currently sitting at 1 under for the round. Frank, you know full well, this can be a humbling game.
And an embarrassing game.
Frank, you've been there at so many tournaments around the world. 1 round to go, a chance to win. What's that feeling like?
Oh, this is the fun part, knowing whether or not your body can handle the situation. You've got to push it to the limit. But that's what sport and golf is all about. Trying to do something that you've dreamed of for so long.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the International Challenge. That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. This is the second shot at the par 4. Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance really for birdie, but really it's a rather poor approach shot.
That's a nice lag putt. Frank, what would you focus on a long putt?
That 3-foot circle. Obviously, you allow yourself a little bit more the further and further away you get, but just expectations, lower them a little bit. There's certain distances, just take 2.
Now the lone par 5 on the back nine, the 16th, and while you might be thinking birdie here, you may want to think again. What are the options off the tee, Frank?
Well, really, there's only one option, and that's keep it short of that burn, which is 280 yards. So that makes that 540 yards play that much longer. Second shot.
That's been the story of the day, hacking it out of the rough.
Gonna have grass stains on the shoes come the end.
Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie.
Remember, out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit. Great shot out of the rough. He avoided all the troubles just to get that on the green.
That was not an easy shot. He'll settle. Came to the putt excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. You've let one go.
Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. 17th here at Royal Troon. This is a very strong par 3, isn't it, Frank?
Well, if rabbits have teeth, then this is why it's called rabbit. Very, very strong par 3.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And when you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole, don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
Wow, I thought he made that. Well, that's disappointing. He misses the par putt, and he'll have this for bogey. And he makes it for a bogey here. Finally, the 18th at Royal Troon. History, skill, nerves, bunkers, of course, and the clubhouse. Frank, they all come into play on this final hole.
Yeah, 3 bunkers down the left. It's not a case of hitting past those, it's avoiding them. And then if you avoid it too far to the right, there's one nicely placed about 300 yards off the tee that'll catch you there. So there's somehow you've got to craft a tee shot to miss all 4 of those bunkers.
Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Trying to move on with a par in his pocket. He takes care of business there.
Solid stroke.
Well, Frank, Royal Troon Golf Club did not disappoint today.
No, it certainly didn't. The old bounce and roll game, it's a game for everyone. You never really perfect it. You just learn it and you get better at it.
And with that, we bid you farewell from the shores of Scotland for EA Sports. This is Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo, and we'll see you next time. EA Sports and the Wolf Creek Golf Club so proudly present opening round coverage of the EA Sports Spring Invitational. Just an ideal lie, Frank. What can he do from here?
Well, if he takes advantage of the tee shot now and goes at this flag, then he will certainly gain on the field.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. Let's see if he does it here.
Great knees, great hands in this shot.
Yeah, touch. You have to have that feel. You have something between the ball and the club face, so it's a different feel, but you also have to have imagination.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one.
How about that shot right there from that lie in the rough to knock it that close? That's good. Hate to say it, but that is a quadruple bogey, double the par, and time to pick up and move on. Been fun so far. Let's see what's happening out at hole number 5. It has not gone all that well early in the round for our featured golfer. What do they need to do, Frank, to turn this thing around?
Well, you can't dwell on what's just happened. There's plenty of holes ahead. Look at the scorecard, par 5s to play, things like that. Really pick apart this golf course. There's going to be plenty of opportunities around the corner.
Frank, he is one of the longest hitters in the game, but at some point, you have to hit a fairway.
Yeah, he's certainly not the straightest. I think that was the bit you're going to put in the middle.
Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up.
Rich, you know, after you've already made one mistake in the rough, there's a chance he's going to make another.
Just trying to get it back out into the fairway and not make a big number. He'll need to be strong with this.